I think when you hear music that doesn't specifically tell you what it's about, the audiences can make it their own, you know. You will interpret it at whatever you're going through at the moment. You know, we all have all those stories and traumas and things that we're going through, you know, and art and music helps us going through that, whether you make it or whether you listen to it. If I managed to make something where I felt in that moment I was connected to this part of mine, where I could speak freely, even if no one hears it, I'm 100% happy about that. I'm Ruth Goller. Oh, you booked the wrong person.
Oh, so much work as well.
I usually say I'm an improvising musician because I play a lot of different types of music and have always done. So I grew up playing punk rock and then studied jazz and then, you know, got into South American music quite heavily. I feel like the sort of binding element between all of those bands was always a certain type of freedom. There is a conversation between musicians as well on stage. That's why I think I am an improvising musician.
How does that work for you as a composer?
Once you're in the live setting, I don't want it to sound like the record. That doesn't interest me. That happened. That's done. Is there, is pressed on the record. People can listen to that if they want to listen to that. I have booked certain people because I want their voice in my music, you know. So when we're on stage, I provide a ground, like a common language between us. So I provide songs, I provide a style, a sound, and within that I trust those people. I want to see that conversation between them, and this is where creativity really happens and where the interesting things happen in music and in any kind of art. You know, it's a collaboration. Otherwise you'd just be sitting on your own at home.
Buonasera a tutti, benvenuti alla prima serata di Genio Veloce. I due concerti che sono questa sera qua nel chiostro parlano di Inghilterra, di scena progressive inglese, di musica nuova dall'Inghilterra. Ci sarà un gruppo storicamente selezionato.
Yeah, writing is a completely different thing for me. Like, I love writing on my own. I think in that moment I find it hard to let go of that control.
Questa sera Ruth Goller e Skylla.
It's important to be open about it, but I think emotionally it's good if you can manage to really express what's inside you and really touch that part of yourself, you know, and manage to get that out, because that's the thing that people are going to relate to. So until that is something very tangible for me, I'm not quite ready to let it go, I think. Once I've got the whole thing, do whatever you want with it, and you know, I want people to hear it in different ways. Like on the first record, I hardly pronounced any of the words, so they're very, very mumbly sometimes. So there's just like a few words that you can understand, but the rest is sort of a gist towards a thought, but you're much more opening up your work to other people. You can communicate an emotion, a sentiment, or a direction, but it may mean, to this person, it may mean something completely different than to the other person.
In terms of the physical space, practical considerations when you're writing music, are there particular things that you need to be?
No. And I used to be like that a lot, and that held me back so much because I'm traveling a lot, you know, I'm touring a lot and stuff. So I just realized I never managed to do anything because I'm just never. And then when I do have a day off, you know, I'd come here to this place, to this room, and I have to start putting up mics and setting up pedal boards, and, you know, it would take me like 2 hours to do that. And at that point, I just want to go to bed. What I've decided a few years ago is I'm just gonna stop thinking about gear as a priority. It's more important for me to capture the moment when I am in my head ready to do something, rather than when my practical surrounding is ready to do something, you know. So often, like the last few records, I've recorded them all over the world in like hotel rooms, and I'm not always in the state of mind where I can totally be free with writing, you know. So sometimes I might try to do something for a specific reason, not that I'm aware of it necessarily, but and then I can hear it straight away. It doesn't sound, it sounds a bit fake almost. People are going to pick up on that as well, you know, whether it's forced or not. Yeah, like the first Skylla record, the vocals, I've done it on the Mac mic. I didn't even have like a sound card, nothing. I literally just sang into the computer mic. Skylla I created, it's almost like my inner self, you know, that's what I see. It's a creature, but it's my inner self that is completely at peace with everything and able to express everything she thinks, and, you know, is the pure myself. That's how I feel it. And when I dress up, I feel it's easier for me to access that because, first of all, I'm shut off from everything that's around me, because when I have the mask on, I can't see the audience. All I can see is my neck from the bass. So you create that thing, and it gives me my own private space to perform this music. So I have a bass in my hand and can play my music, then I know how to connect to the audience, but with speaking I can't. So it also helped me for that to be okay, you know. I can just be some weird creature that doesn't really know how to do that.
Do you feel like the stuff you're creating now is part of things, an extension of things that have gone before you, and that will continue after you? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's impossible to take yourself out of any history, what happened, because there's just so many influences that, for myself, I know they're 100% there, but I try to not access that at all, you know. And then that, I think, allows me to make my own little, almost like a bowl of different what do you call that, Play-Doh, that that, you know, of different colors, and you just put it together and just make your own colorful bowl with all of those elements. And for me, it's like a lot of it was about detuning my instrument, you know, or writing on an instrument that I don't know. Because if I pick up the bass, I know functional harmony, you know, this chord works with this chord, it wants to go there, this voice, you know, it's so ingrained that I almost can't stop it if I play my instrument when it's tuned, because my fingers almost do that movement because I've just done it so much. So when I detune it, then I've lost that skill completely, and then all I'm doing when I'm writing is I'm hearing. I have to rely on what I'm hearing, and then often I realize, oh, I don't actually hear music like that, you know. Often in the tunes that I play, I don't even know what key they're in. Obviously, I know what they sound like, but in an analytical way, I often don't know what it is, you know, because it just makes sense to me sonically, and I'm really trying to hold on to that. I think that's the richness and the uniqueness, what you can get when you can get away from that knowledge. I'm always scared about learning too much about it, because I feel like I would get that limitation, you know. And I do believe that the more you can learn and go into music college and learn how to read, and, you know, for me it was super enriching in everything I do. But it's then the ability to recognize what's actually inside it, you know, what do I actually like. Because, yeah, you know, I went to music college, learned about jazz and all of that, and I thought I had to be that kind of musician while I was doing that. And I said, yeah, I have to be a jazz bass player, I have to be really good at this. And I just felt I could never get there until I realized that I don't have to be that. Like, only myself, I'm telling myself, you know, to be that. There's a million other things that I can do and that I like a lot more. And only once I allowed myself to do that, I managed to sort of find my own voice a little bit, you know. And I'm like a punk musician, you know. I listen to punk rock and hardcore at home. No wonder I find it hard to play All the Things You Are in Seven, because I just never... Do you know what I mean? But again, I did try and study, and I still, when I have time to practice now, I still try and practice harmony, because I know it helps me, it helps my ear, it helps the development, you know. But yeah, just to be able to let go of that. That's why I like writing on the piano. And yeah, all sorts of other instruments that just take me back to being completely intuitive, you know. And that's why I also think I am an improvising musician, because my music often comes out of improvisation, but then gets shaped into a song. I just try to trust, oh yeah, I want it to go there. Almost like you start seeing a color or something, you know. It's all an emotion. Melody creates emotion, time creates emotion, noise creates emotion. So, you know, it's all part of the same thing, creating colors and moods and, you know, access to conversation and even like not like silence is a huge one as well, you know. Art is therapy, isn't it? Like for me, music is really that's what it is. Playing live, or, you know, in fact every gig I feel strongly about, and I feel exhausted afterwards emotionally. To be able to access that part of myself in that way, you know. Other people might do it through meditation or walking or, you know, talking or whatever. For me, it's playing music. It's an instant thing. I can do it immediately. Whenever I plan something like if I plan something ahead, or it's like, well, am I going to move, or am I going to do this or that, you know, it gives me panic attacks and anxiety, you know. And then, yeah, after school, I basically bought a car, like a cheap car, and chucked all my stuff in it and just drove to London. Just found like some random school. I just rang them, hardly spoke any English. I don't know how, but they accepted me. So I just parked the car on Tower Bridge at the time as well. Slept in the car for like weeks because I had nowhere to be, all my stuff in there. I sort of fell into a group of musicians and learned about jazz and improvised music, and, you know, and then I started learning about harmony. I don't think I have been born to be a bass player. I think I could have been loads of different things, you know, not like other people. I don't feel like I have this sort of natural talent to, you know, to be a musician. Playing improvised music, and you find out a lot about yourself because you're going through a lot of things, a lot of emotions, you know, like a lot of letting go of control of your thing, you know what I mean, and recognizing that my thing is as important as their thing in their head, you know. Same as like, and in terms of community, you know, we always hear like, I'm doing everything for my family, I'm protecting my family. Obviously you are, obviously we all are. But there's a family next door who is exactly the same, you know, and that's as important. There's this family unit here and that family unit there, and you know, we all have exactly the same value in that big frame of community or social existence. And the same if you think about it on stage, this is exactly what you do. You need to allow yourself and be open to think, hold on, this is exactly what they are thinking as well, about their idea. And it's the same, you know what I mean? It's exactly the same. So why the fuck do I think my thing is more important than anyone else's? You have to be able to let go of that control and then embrace it and enjoy making their idea brilliant, you know? Improvising together with people you love and you trust teaches you so much about community and how to deal with your neighbors and how to deal with people around you, isn't it? That's, yeah, I love that about playing, and it's been good learning about you. It's just a lot of learning about yourself doing that, you know. Yeah. What are you about? Who the fuck are you? That's what I want to know, you know. I don't care if you can play all kind of changes and, you know, like, let me see you.